how was it last? I'm sorry.
It's okay. Tax financial you think that Obama isn't taxing any financial transactions?
I'm sorry?
I see the sign, President Obama tax financial transactions. You think that he's not taxing?
Oh, I don't want to be on camera, please. I actually am not our spokesperson. Renee is our spokesperson.
Okay, she can speak on camera. It's just for my...
If she wants to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's more photogenic, right? Photogenic.
Ask her first, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just. I was told that you're more photogenic, telegenic, and you can explain or tell me why Obama. You think that Obama is not taxing financial transactions? You really think so?
No, he's not. Let me explain to you about the financial transaction
tax. Okay, I'm just curious.
Sorry, I'm kind of nursing a cold, so. Okay, so what we're talking about was the financial transaction tax. And what that is, and we kind of lovingly refer to it as the Robin Hood tax.
I'm sorry, what tax?
We refer to it as the Robin Hood tax.
Robin Hood?
The Robin Hood tax.
That's interesting. You think you want to have Robin Hood tax?
We want to have a Robin Hood
Hood.
Do you know the legend of Robin Hood?
Yeah, I mean, wait. The guy...
He would take stuff back from the rich and give to the poor.
He would take money from the people who work hard for their money, and he would take money from the people who work hard for their money and give this money to the people who didn't want to work at all. That's the story of Robin Hood that I heard. Maybe we read different books, so...
I think our interpretations are very different.
Okay.
My interpretation of what Robin Hood was is there was a ruling class that was oppressing the people.
Oppressing the people? By doing what? How were they oppressing the people?
They were who are you with? Who are you talking
No,
about?
I'm just for myself. I'm not really documenting anyone.
Okay.
I'm just interested, curious in this movement. See, I came from Russia originally. So when I see these kind of statements, including the statements like fight for socialism, abolish capitalism, it really takes me off. Because I lived on both.
You have a very different perspective.
Exactly.
I understand
so that's why I'm trying to understand.
Okay, let me explain to you what our position on what Robin Hood did, or my interpretation of Robin Hood did. He took from those who were oppressing, those who were left to work in the fields, and were actually creating the money and the wealth for these very wealthy people, but were left with minimal healthy conditions, less than minimal food, were made to labor as children, etc. He would take and give to those people to share the wealth, people to be able to take it, to have a piece of the wealth in which they built. Okay, so we lovingly refer to this as the Robin Hood tax, and that's why. What we're talking about here when we talk about a financial transaction tax, it was something that we used to have in the 30s and up into the 40s, I think. I can't remember the exact date, but we had it well into the 20th century. What it is a very minimal, less than 1% of every transaction, like stocks and bonds and stuff like that. There would be a nominal fee. Of less than 1%.
Let me ask you this: which country do you think has the highest corporate taxes in the world? Corporate taxes in the world. We're talking about corporations here, as far as I can see.
Well, no, not necessarily. These are folks who are individuals who are trading billions and billions of dollars in stocks and bonds and making huge money transfers that are solely on paper and are not paying any kind of fees, and they're left to do this, trading on mortgages and trading on future stocks and things like that. That there's no fee attached to that, and nothing is going into the coffers. This would create over $30 billion in the federal coffers. we're cutting services left and right. There's no fee going on these transactions. When you and I go, when we go and make any kind of transaction, we pay either a state tax, we pay a local tax. When we go to the ATM and it's not our ATM, we pay a fee. We pay a fee for moving our money. We pay 14 cents on a check when we write checks. We are taxed and feed to death with just to hold our money, just to move our money, just to be able to. A lot of places, if you go and use your debit card to pay for groceries, they tack on an extra fee. But what I'm saying is when big volumes of money are traded, there's no fee. So that money's just gone left and right. So individuals are paying paying an extraordinarily amount to be able to survive.
So you're only referring by pointing to this. You're only referring to the transactions in stocks or any transactions or any taxes whatsoever. I mean, are you happy with the tax system that we have today?
This is strictly, we're just talking about this financial transaction
Wall Street.
tax. No, it would be on, we call it the Wall Street tax or the financial transaction tax.
Thank you.
But doesn't the stock exchange pays huge amounts of in tax? And in fact, our state,
Why would they do that?
Well, because on every transaction, the every General Electric.
General Electric paying no tax?
No, that's, and you know why, right?
Why?
Well, because emailed. He is the right hand and essential of Barack Hussein Obama, so he exempted him, and it's a corporation.
Does it make okay?
What's that?
Does it make okay?
No, absolutely not. No, I agree with you. It's absolutely not okay.
We're saying tax it.
Yeah, but when we talk about taxes in general, we, as a corporation, as a country, we have the second highest business tax system in the world. The second highest after Japan. You know that, right?
And how much is getting paid in? I think the thing is, I think that you do have a very different perspective. I think the reality is corporations are not paying their fair share. When you
35% is not fair share.
They're not. I mean, there is not a corporation.
35% is not enough. What do we mean?
You're looking at 35%, but the reality is they're not paying 35%. They're paying 35%. None of us would be here. We'd all have equal share, and the market would be fine, and all of our services would be paid for. If they were actually paying the 35% that everyone wants to say that is on paper, and there weren't corporate loopholes, and they weren't going out and putting money offshore, and if they weren't going and they weren't making things over in other countries where they're creating slave labor and then shipping it over here, we wouldn't be having this discussion. The reality is they're not paying 35%.
But how about?
We wouldn't have this.
But how about if I offer another solution? Lower the taxes. I mean, when it came from USSR, I just couldn't understand. How come is that when Reagan
Why are you going to lower the taxes? Why?
I'll explain.
Why? Okay, explain
Look what happened under Reagan. And again, initially I couldn't understand. How is that possible when you lower the taxes and yet the government gets more revenue? Turns out, simple. As you mentioned before, hold on, let me finish. Hold on, let me finish.
You've got exactly about a minute to finish.
Okay.
I've got a lot of work to do.
Sure, I'm sorry. So what happens is that when you lower taxes, it generates more sales. So
that is a lovely theory, and it's all trickle down, and it's bullshit and doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Trickle down doesn't work.
It doesn't.
No.
What was?
Trickle down economics has never worked. It's a lovely, lovely theory created by Reaganites, and it's tried to enforce fed to a whole lot.
What
of
was the unemployment?
Build your base.
What was the unemployment rate under Bush?
Build your base.
The lowest one.
Where are the jobs?
Well, ask Obama. Under Bush, we had 4.5%, the lowest. When Obama came to power, it was less than 8%.
Okay, so
under Obama,
you're just anti-Obama, and that's a conversation.
No.
You're just actually kind of want to create.
I am.
You're actually just in here trying to create conflict because you know what this movement is about. So you're just wanting to.
I am trying to understand what is.
And that's fine, and you can debate all day long. But the reality is. The reality is what we're supporting.
Okay.
We're here trying to provide.
Robin Hood taxes.
We're calling it the Robin Hood tax.
Okay. Done.
And I mean, there's lots of folks in here to argue with.
Okay. All right. Then good luck with that.
Thank you.